Glad to have you here with us on Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, as we are celebrating pre-Friday, Friday Eve, we are almost to the weekend, we got to ask about the weather. So Cody Proctor is joining us now. And Cody, what does the weather have in store for us today? Because yesterday was actually really nice.
Wasn't it? It was gorgeous.
Yesterday was beautiful. I actually wore shorts and I enjoyed yesterday like nobody's business. But this morning, it's still looking to be a warm day, but we are seeing some active weather already kind of being reintroduced to us. This is where our Doppler radar map is keeping track of those rain showers this morning, tracking from just north of the Tri-Cities through Odessa, around Omak, Okanagan. So some of us seeing some of those showers this morning. And as we head into today, well, right now in downtown Spokane, it's pretty dry right now. Cloudy skies at the moment. Temperatures at the Spokane airport, a lot warmer than what they were yesterday when we've been tracking in the 40s. Right now, we're at 57 degrees, some pretty light winds. And throughout the region, looking to stay mostly in those 50s at the moment. We're seeing quite a bit of sunshine in Coeur d'Alene and in Sandpoint. A few cloudier skies around Moses Lake and Wenatchee at this time. The next 12 hours, temperatures around our seasonal average. It looks to be pretty nice when it comes to that. Low 70s expected by about 3, potentially 5 o'clock this afternoon. We are starting to see a little more cloud coverage as our day continues. And then as we head into tomorrow, we've got this next system moving in, that counterclockwise movement. That's our low pressure system. That could be bringing some storms into our forecast, potentially for your Friday, possibly on your Saturday as well.
Well, starting next week, the city of Spokane Valley will begin construction on a new roundabout. They will be replacing the intersection at Barker Road and Sprague Avenue with a single-lane roundabout. Construction will start on Monday and is expected to finish sometime in August. Now, if you need to get around the intersection, you can take the detour that's there on your screen. It's highlighted in that red. Now, you can take South Green Acres to East 4th Avenue to South Hodges in order to get back onto Sprague. A FDA medical panel has recommended both Moderna and Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccines for children 6 months to 5 years old.
The panel voted unanimously that the benefits of both vaccines outweigh any risk for young children. The CDC says more than 440 children ages 4 and under died from COVID during the pandemic, and hospitalizations among that age group have risen during the Omicron surge. Pfizer says its 3-shot series is 80% effective in preventing symptomatic infections in young children.
It's a population that has been much less affected than the older populations, particularly the oldest population, but one nonetheless has also been affected. We have to be careful that we don't become numb to the number of pediatric deaths because of the overwhelming number of older deaths here.
The decision still needs final approval from both the FDA and the CDC. Then shots could be available as soon as early next week at doctors' offices, hospitals, and pharmacies. Well, now that the COVID vaccine is recommended for children under 5, parents might still have some questions. So KREM 2's Malia Kamal took those questions to pediatricians to get answers. She joins us now from Providence this morning. Good morning, Malia. What do parents need to know?
Good morning, Tim. Yes, the youngest population could soon get approval for the COVID-19 vaccination. Now, decision still needs to be approved by the FDA and CDC, but when it's approved, it will be available to those children ranging from ages 6 months to 5 years old. Now, the dose for the young children are much smaller than what is being offered for older children and adults. I spoke to pediatrician Brian Zimmerman. The pediatrician has worked in the Spokane area for 22 years. He says the vaccine will help reduce the risk of serious illness from the virus, but there is some side effects. These side effects are somewhat similar to what we're seeing in the adult vaccine.
So there's usually going to be some soreness localized around the injection site when you receive that vaccine. And kids still feel similarly to adults, meaning they feel tired for a few days. They may feel kind of that sort of myalgia or achy kind of feeling in their muscles. Maybe they have a little headache. It may even alter their appetite. Some may report a fever.
He adds that there is also potential for an acute allergic reaction, but if this were to happen, it would take place within the first 15 to 30 minutes after the dose has been administered. Now, children who have a fever that persists longer than 2 to 3 days, well, parents should take their child to the hospital. Now, Dr. Simmerman says that before you get your child vaccinated, you should consult with your pediatrician. In Spokane Valley, Malia Kamal, KREM 2 News.
The House committee investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol begins its third public hearing today.
So the panel is expected to focus on former Vice President Mike Pence, who faced threats during the riots. Now, retired federal judge Michael Ludick is expected to testify before the panel. He is said to have urged Vice President Pence to resist President Trump's pressure to block the certification of the 2020 election. The committee also released surveillance video of a tour led by Georgia Republican Congressman Barry Loudermilk the day before the attack happened. Now, in the video, you can see some of the guests documenting locations like staircases and even security checkpoints. One of the guests in the video was actually seen threatening members of Congress during the attacks the next day. Today's hearings begin at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
It is time for your morning rush. More news in less time. Spokane police identified the man who they say sexually assaulted a woman. Police arrested Daniel J. Maggie as the suspect who they say sexually assaulted a woman in North Spokane on Tuesday. Detectives have probable cause for rape and kidnapping. Police say Maggie has at least 22 prior felony convictions. Washington State lost 2,300 jobs last month. That's according to the State Employment Security Department. It says those losses were mostly in retail, professional, and business services. This is the first time Washington lost jobs overall since January of 2021. At the same time, the state's labor force grew by 13,000 people. So this is actually the number of employed and unemployed people over the age of 16. The state of Washington is kicking off its Juneteenth celebrations this week. Governor Jay Inslee and members of the Black United in Leadership and Diversity group are holding an event today. Inslee will participate in a flag-raising ceremony along with giving remarks at the Capitol campus. This is the first year Juneteenth is an official state and federal holiday. Well, the American Red Cross is looking for more Black Americans to be blood donors as it helps people battling sickle cell disease. Sickle cell is a blood disorder that impacts communities of color across the country. The American Red Cross says it is seeing the worst blood shortage in over a decade. Sickle cell disease impacts as many as 100,000 Americans. Well, the annual Coeur d'Alene Ironman is right around the corner, and they are looking for volunteers. You may remember last year, it was pretty hot outside when the event took place, but organizers say it should be much cooler this year. The event is looking for volunteers to help with crowd control. If you would like to help, you can visit Ironman's official website to learn more, and that's a look at your morning rush.